good, beautiful people? My name is Uting Prince Tui, and I'd like to welcome you to Corporate Religion. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for investing time into this platform. It's one that is long overdue, at least according to some of the people in my life. People who I've had this conversation with, and I would say some of them are friends, some of them are strangers, but a lot of them I could tell from the engagement that there's a lot that is going on that we probably need to discuss, and I felt like we have a shortage, if not a lack, of platforms that address corporate. So this is the pilot episode, and what I want to do in this episode is actually maybe just explain the backstory to how we came up with corporate religion, right? I think those are two words that don't necessarily spend a lot of time alongside each other, and the reality is that when you speak about corporate, a lot of the times you'll steer clear of religion, right? When you speak about religion, there's no business speaking about corporate. But I used both those words intentionally, right? Because I think to some extent we have developed a religion out of corporate, right? And I say we've developed a religion out of corporate because I see how there is a systematic way of approaching corporate, at least in our thinking, where we oftentimes don't discuss some of the things we need to discuss, right? We don't question certain things. And unfortunately, for some people, that's what religion looks like, right? You're told what to believe. You're told this is what we've always believed. This is how things are done. But no one really questions. You just subscribe to it. And what we find is that there are certain decisions that you make. There are certain habits that you develop. There are certain things that you start to adopt that impact your life positively and negatively, but you find that you actually never questioned. You never stood still to be like, why do I believe this, that, and the third? And that's what I wanted to do with the topic that is corporate, right? I've been in corporate for about just under 6 years. And I've had an interesting time. Started off in pharmaceuticals. Now I find myself in Tech, right? And it's been an interesting time for me. And I look at some of the experiences I've had, and how I think only later on, I'll say maybe in my fourth year, where I had to actually sit down and be like, yo, like, why do we do this? Why do I subscribe to doing things a certain way? And I find myself now a bit more intentional, because of the life stage that I'm at as well. Recently married, looking to start a family, and I had to really be intentional in asking myself, what life do I want for my family? And with that being said, how does that impact the decisions I make in corporate? How does that impact the kind of job I have? How does that impact my involvement in corporate? But unfortunately, what I have found from the conversations I've had with some friends and some strangers is that there are a lot of things that we don't question. There are a lot of decisions that are made without questioning, is this the right thing for me? But I want to make something very clear before we go any further. I'm not here to bash corporate. I'm not here to speak ill of anyone's employer, including myself. I'm not here to discourage anyone from working hard, from enjoying their time in corporate. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to say, let us be conscious of the decisions we make in light of our experiences in corporate. Lest we find ourselves a few years down the line having regrets. So I've had conversations with females that have spoken about how maybe they've put having children on hold, right, for the sake of their profession. And I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with your profession. There's nothing wrong with making it up the ranks. But my question is it worth it? Is it really worth it, right? When you look at your life after 5-10 years, would you say that was the right decision to make? Because the reality is that your company, or the company you work for, your employer will flourish with or without you, right? You can be the person with the biggest account at the firm, you can bring in the most money, but the reality is that you're not really special, in the sense that you're not doing something that stands out. It will not stand out for eternity, you know. There are many people who can bring money into the company. There are many people who can do what you're doing, or maybe you're exclusive, I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that the impact that you are having on your company, you need to be realistic about how much of an impact is that in my life, right? You might feel like you want to work your way to the top. Yes, you can work your way to the top and make money from that, but only to find that 5, 10 years down the line, all you actually ever wanted was to have a family, to have a child, to have a husband. So I've had conversations with women where I've found that they are kind of wrestling with that reality, especially women in our day and age where they have equal opportunity. And the reality is that they are trying to balance those two things. When I speak to men, for example, man, men are out here working themselves to the bone, and they are convincing themselves that monna ke hard work. You have to work hard, you have to make all this money, because if you have the money you can get the girls, if you get the girls you get, you know what I'm saying. And you find that after 5, 10 years the man is lonely, the man is broken, there's no companionship, and they thought they didn't need companionship because one, they were just out getting the money, getting the girls. But 5, 10 years later you find that maybe what they actually wanted was the stability of a wife, a stability of a family. What they really wanted, or what they really need, is to have a family that loves them and cares for them. So there are those conversations that I want us to have, right? We'll obviously speak about toxic work environments. We'll speak about the challenges we face in corporate, how sometimes we have to let go of our personal convictions, how we navigate all of that. And I'm not saying this because I'm a professional in this. I'm not a professional in psychology. Hopefully, I'll get some psychologists along the way. I'll get some human resource managers along the way. But I am just an average Joe like you, but I ask questions, right? I am skeptical. I scrutinize things, and I don't subscribe to anything for the sake of it. So I again want to welcome you to the podcast, and I hope it's going to be a fruitful time, and I hope that we'll have some life-changing engagements, because I think it would be a pity for us to have all the conversations that we're going to have and it not benefit our lives in any way, shape, or form. So once again, thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope that our lives will be changed together as we go through this. I'm not a professional, as I said. I'm navigating this life with you, so please don't look at me as someone that knows what they're saying. I'm here to ask questions more than anything else. But with all of that said, I will close with this. Please do not focus so much on a dream that you forget to be awake and live the other beautiful parts of your life. It will not be worth it in the end if all you're focusing on is that one thing. Love and peace.